All right.
Can I do the bathroom? Can I do the bathroom?
I don't know. Kenya's a country in Africa. Kenya?
I have to say, can I just say something right now?
Go on.
I am a fucking English professor now. I am a professor of English, albeit visiting at a elite liberal arts college. Mm-hmm. You can say, "Can I go to the bathroom?" What the fuck are these people talking about? There's nothing grammatically wrong with that. Jesus fucking Christ. My back and to the left is, "Can you go to the bathroom?" Except not, because I don't have any problems with it. It's fine. Just say it.
Can you go to the Can you?
I have fantasies about fucking a time machine and just going back and being like, to all the people who gave me shit for saying, "Can I go to the bathroom?" being just like time machining and being like, "Here's my PhD from the University of Pennsylvania. Fuck you, actually. Let this kid go to the bathroom."
It was the end of history. It was the 90s. Everyone was like, no, these are the arguments that we're going to have. Is it can I or may I? Those are the only arguments left for us to decide as a society.
Racial inequality? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Can I have racial equality? How about may I have racial equality?
You're tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
It's a podcast.
Welcome to You're Tall, But I'm Standing in Front of You, the podcast where two friends circling the drain of academia examine the cultural detritus of the 20th century. I'm Devin.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
After how many episodes now, it's "Hey, I'm Ethan."
Hey!
Man, the whole rhythm's thrown off into disarray. But Ethan, it's a very special time of year.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's a time when people around the country, around the United States of America, gather together, sit around the table, and celebrate the day when it was incontrovertibly proven that one man, without any assistance from any individuals, organizations, or governments, could kill the president.
Yeah.
It's the 60th anniversary of the JFK assassination.
Wow. It's been that long. It feels like yesterday. Where were you, Devin?
I mean, I have to. I'm in the same position as George H.W. Bush there, with not being able to say.
Yeah.
Me and him, the only two people in history, maybe. What about you?
I was just hanging out with Ted Cruz's father.
Oh, nothing weird about that. No follow-up questions.
Nothing of import.
So, yeah. So, Ethan, what did we watch to mark this special occasion?
We watched Disney's Moana. No, we watched Oliver Stone's JFK.
Yeah, and it's a big day for the pod. Because Oliver Stone is now entering into a very select group. Because you might remember that we've also done an episode on his just his tremendous film World Trade Center.
That's the only one of his films I had seen before this. So
really?
Yep.
I haven't seen that many, but he's now one of only 4 directors that we will have talked about 2 or more movies by.
That's an elite club.
Yeah. Do you know who else is in it?
Well, our father, James Cameron.
Obviously, number one with a bullet,
Yeah.
James Cameron. Who even knows how many of them we've done? I think the list of ones we haven't done might be smaller at this point.
Yes. But besides that, Spielberg.
Spielberg, yeah. So also as part of the 2911 series, of course, we did War of the Worlds, and then we did Saving Private Ryan as part of our World War II series. Which, did that series ever get a name? I don't think it did. Because we had 2911's actually had a name.
Yeah.
And then the Water series kind of had like an anti-name. But I think we only ever just referred to like the fact that, oh yeah, so we're doing a series about movies about World War II. I don't even ever think it became as concise as like the World War II series.
No, that's a fair point. We
like
wanted,
as you know, we've been doing a series. And of course, the fourth member of this illustrious club, Lamberto Bava, director
Yes,
of
course.
Demons and Demons 2.
son of Mario Bava.
Yes, a guy that I know a lot about, as you know. We did in our one episode with Dan Malinowski, maybe last October, maybe the October before then. But we're getting deep into Oliver Stone territory. We're really getting into, we looked at World Trade Center, which I think it's fair to say is Oliver Stone after the bloom is off the rose a little bit.
Wow, interesting.
I don't
for
think maybe a number of
speak
reasons.
for this podcast when you say that. 'Cause that's of course the only film of Oliver Stone's I had seen, and I was blown away.
Well, just going off the numbers here, right? Where 1991, Oliver Stone is not it's not that he's not a controversial figure at all. He's clearly a very like political filmmaker, right? But he is a critically acclaimed and critically accepted filmmaker, right? Whereas like we think of the Oliver Stone of World Trade Center, his politics have gone maybe into an increasingly unhinged direction. Not that they weren't always, as I'm sure we'll talk about today. And maybe the money isn't coming in as much, and the nominations definitely aren't coming in. But JFK had 8 Oscar nominations, and he's actually at this point in 1991 has 3 films that have had 8 Academy Award nominations between this, Born on the 4th of July, and Platoon. And his films have won a total of 9 Oscars at this point. And then I believe he never wins an Oscar again. Like, not just him, but, like his films never win an Oscar again.
Wow.
And
There's a
the only
conspiracy
other
for you.
film he's made since... Sorry?
Nothing. Go on.
And the only film he's made since JFK that has gotten even any nominations is Nixon in 1995. Even though he's been doing the same kind of thing in some ways. He did the George Bush biopic.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Snowden biopic, right? But we're really looking at Stone at the peak of his powers, right?
Yeah, but also like it's foretelling what is to come, I feel, by having a film aptly titled JFK, and then he kind of like falls into this hole, I feel, of the future films that he seems to keep doing.
Definitely, right?
Yeah.
He's got all the resources in this movie, right? He's got the budget. Mm-hmm. He's got the outrageous cast that I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about. In fact, I know we're going to talk a lot about.
Yep.
And he's got the subject matter that has swallowed so many people whole, right? And so maybe before we get into the film, we can talk a little bit about like the JFK assassination itself, our relationship to it. It's there have been a lot of works of art about it. It's known for its capacity to drive people insane. There's the great novel by Don DeLillo, Libra, which is about the assassination, and there's the character, I think his name's Nicholas Branch or something like that, but he's the guy that's like in the room full of papers that I think he calls like the Room of Dreams at one point. And he's been like hired to kind of go through all this material, and it's just like it's metaphorically swallowing him whole, right? So like, Ethan, what was your relationship, especially like growing up? Like, did you have a JFK phase like a lot of kids have, like sometime after dinosaurs, or
I mean, not especially, I guess. I guess I was sort of into the space race at some point, and you get some JFK from that. He has the great line, and people only remember the first part of the line, but the full line is, "We choose to go to the moon and do the other things." And I always loved the second half of that, which is "do the other things." Because
what were those?
let's not get into it. But he, not really. I don't know, but again, I was, I'd be curious. If I'm assuming, did you then have a JFK face, since you insinuated this was like a universal thing that people have?
Universal experience. I mean, I think like for the kind of dweeby white guy who's going to go on to host a podcast with an episode about the film JFK, I think within that demographic, it's a somewhat universal experience, right? But, I was never like a super deep diver into it, right? But it was definitely one of those things that like caught my imagination as a kid, You're like, I definitely had a phase where I was really into like serial killers, and I was reading about like Ed Gein and John Wayne Gacy all the time and shit like that. You get into like, your Charles Manson kind of stuff. And, and JFK was definitely kind of a part of that. Just these weird kind of darker zones of history, of American history.
Oh, okay.
Also like,
I was trying to piece it together in my head. Okay. I see the connection. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and it's also like, especially when there's an air of mystery to it, right? And there's kind of, when you're a kid, I think it's easy to convince yourself like, oh, I'll figure this out though, right?
And I feel like it's interesting because, we grew up in the 90s when, again, JFK the film came out, X-Files. You had sort of this conspiratorial underpinning in popular culture that I feel like some of that, maybe some of that, I think I probably piqued my interest as a young teen.
Definitely.
But it was countered with the fact that we didn't have access to the full internet in that age, which I think would have taken it to a very dark place very quickly had we grown up later.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like back then it was like the 1990s. It wasn't like you were necessarily going to Wikipedia, right? You were going to like some guy's weird GeoCities page who was like obsessed with JFK, and it's loading really slowly, right? But it's like, I remember like watching the Zapruder film over and over again, right? And then when you're that age, you just read someone saying something like, oh, well, that's not how heads move when they're shot from that angle. And you're like, absolutely, right? But I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? But bringing up X-Files, I think, is important for this discussion too, right? Because the 90s are this era where conspiracy trafficking and conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorizing has this kind of countercultural flavor to it. Whether there's actually any like real political content to that, I'm not sure it does, but there's this association where like in the 90s, if you're a conspiracy guy, you're an anti-government kind of vaguely lefty radical, right?
Yeah. And it's almost like, this is immediate post Cold War. This is, America ascended. It's the end of history. And so I think there was almost an allowance for conspiracy theories in that world because like they're never an actual threat to anything. It's just like these people having these really kooky ideas out there about things like JFK and the moon landing. It's never quite perhaps the more prescient sort of psychosis that I think it has devolved into in modern times with
you saying that makes me think it's like kind of the 90s conspiracy stuff is really, it's a historical symptom of the left's failure as a project, right?
Yeah.
guys that maybe in the 70s thought they were part of a project that was going to bring about some kind of liberation, right? I'm going to go start a commune or something, right? When that fails, they're reduced to like pontificating about UFOs or the JFK assassination or whatnot. And it's interesting what's happened to Oliver Stone in that context, right? Because I feel like he was thought of at this time. I don't know if he was thought of as a leftist necessarily, but he was definitely thought of as kind of an anti-authoritarian, vaguely countercultural figure.
Yeah.
He makes films that are, he makes Nixon, which is a very anti-Nixon film. He makes JFK, obviously. The same year JFK comes out, The Doors comes out, so he's kind of associating himself.
Can you just imagine like a very pro-Nixon film, like biopic about Nixon? I'm just trying to imagine what it would entail.
Fair point. Yeah. But there's
yeah.
like in the director's cut, there's literally a shot of Nixon where he has like these completely black eyes, like a demon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But I think we think of Stone now as he was pretty gung-ho about the war on terror, right?
I mean, based off of World Trade Center, he saw it almost as a like religious quest. So
yeah, let's actually let's make sure we're accurate.
But it's I'd actually be curious because I feel like the even more
Holocaust
recent
controversy. You never want to see that.
But because I feel like more recently he's very like anti-American imperialism in a way that it's interesting that World Trade Center as a film is very confusing within where I feel like you hear about him more recently, which is things like with Hugo Chavez and Vladimir Putin and things like that. That I don't know. Mm-hmm. Have you discerned anything?
I think what we can say about Stone, I'm actually not seeing clear information about the war on terror or Iraq in his profile. But I think what we could say about Stone is what's interesting about him is he is an iconoclast. He doesn't like cleanly fit into one like preset political archetype, right?
Yeah.
He has a somewhat incoherent but interesting set of views about various topics. And it seems clear watching this film that I think like a lot of people of his generation views this event of the assassination of JFK, whether it was or not, as a historical hinge point.
To me, he is like the anti-Rob Reiner. That's how I would perhaps describe Oliver Stone.
So what's Rob Reiner?
Rob, like the American president. I feel like Rob Reiner, you know exactly what you're getting. It is like this,
I see.
hashtag resistance sort of deal. I don't know. I feel like he's just so, locked into the system in a way that Oliver Stone is like, in a political sense, making these political themed movies, but in almost the antithesis of the way that Rob Reiner, kind of making the prelude to Aaron Sorkin and, the West Wing kind of idea
that makes
of
sense
politics.
To me.
So,
yeah. Oliver Stone is like the do your own research guy. And the thing is, when you do your own research, you're going to end up with all kinds of weird opinions. Not that Rob Reiner's opinions are good either, right? But Rob Reiner, in your analogy, right, he's giving us the kind of like the prepackaged Purdue chicken tenders of centrist Democrat ideology.
Like he made a few good men. He's like it's like you can critique within the confines of what you're allowed to do, whereas Oliver Stone's like
it's about rules.
Fuck all of it. All of it is so
To go back to my chicken
when
analogy,
Harry met Sally, I mean, very clear parallels. Go on.
To go back to my chicken analogy, if Rob Reiner's giving you this sort of like Purdue chicken breast straight out of the package, just baked to the temperature that it says on the pack, Oliver Stone is just kind of handing you a piece of venison that he picked up off the side of the road. And he's like, live a little bit, take a bite.
Yeah. He won't even actually tell you where he got the venison. Like, that is where he got it, on the side of the road, but like, he's not going to tell you.
Yeah, you only know that because you were driving up to his house and you saw him on the street.
No, he would just tell you, it's not on me to tell you where this venison came from. So
do your own research.
Yeah, do your own research.
You know, the information's out there. I get really frustrated when people don't just, the information's out there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What is past is prologue. Speaking of, hey, JFK is a film that we watched.
Absolutely.
And like, just to set the scene, because we only have so much time here and we're not experts. I think it's important that, like, we're focused on the movie JFK. Like, this is not a podcast episode about like who actually killed JFK, what conspiracies there were. So I think it's just important to set that out from the outset.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be, because it's very clear, and I have all the information right here, so I think we'll just get it out of the way.
Oh.
And it's very cut and dry, and then we can just get into the film version.
Okay,
right?
That wasn't in our notes, but yeah, go on.
So, September of 1963, John F. Kennedy has one of the strongest plans to get personnel out of Vietnam by the end of 1965. National Security Memo 263. It's going to order home the first 1,000 troops. After the murder of Vietnamese President Diem, and 2 weeks before Kennedy's assassination, a strange thing happens. I'm sent to the South Pole, and that's a problem. Oswald was charged at 7 p.m. Dallas time with Tippett's murder. That's 2 p.m. the next day in New Zealand. But already their papers had the entire history of this unknown 24-year-old Oswald. Studio picture, detailed biography, Russian information. While a photograph published by the National Enquirer shows Ted Cruz's father with crazy Lee Harvey Oswald having breakfast. Is it really Cruz's father? Who can say? A month before in Dallas, UN Ambassador Adlai Stevenson was spit on and hit. There had been attempts on de Gaulle's life in France. We'd arrived days ahead, studied the route, checked all the buildings, never would have allowed open windows overlooking dealing. Who could have best done this? Black Ops. People in my business. My superior might call Colonel Reich and say, we have another unit coming for security. You'll stand down. That day, some Army intelligence people were in Dallas. I don't know who or why, but they weren't protecting clients. Really? Cruz's father? Is it a credible source? Well, it has to be a credible source, because why would they run the photo if the photo was wrong? That doesn't make any sense. In an Elm, you'd have felt an Army presence on the streets that day, but none of this happened. It violated our most basic protection codes. And it is the best indication of a massive plot in Dallas. Oswald, Ruby, Cuba, Ted Cruz's father, the mafia. Keep them guessing like a game. Prevent them from asking the most important question. Why? Why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Oliver Stone.
All right.
So anyway, that's out of the way.
Yeah. I was sort of thinking similar. So I guess with that in mind, we can get into the movie if that works for you.
Yeah. Because now it's like, we're just talking, this is a fictional representation of these real events that I just described.
Yeah. Everyone's probably on the same page.
Everyone's on the same page now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know not everyone's had the time to do the research.
Yes. And it's important that you need to do your own research.
Yeah, no, to be clear, you should do your own research, but listening to this podcast does count as research.
That is research,
Our primary source. Yeah.
Yep. So JFK, the film, I went into this having watched no other Oliver Stone films except for World Trade Center. So,
I have to say, that is the most hilarious first two and order of Oliver Stone films. Like, if you just think of structuring it like a tasting menu. The amuse-bouche is World Trade Center, and now you get a nice first course of JFK.
Yeah. So, like, the film begins with this dub of Eisenhower, actually. You know what this speech is?
The famous military-industrial complex speech that you're always taught about in high school.
But you're often not taught, you know what his original notes had it framed as? Not just the military-industrial complex.
What was it?
The military-industrial congressional complex. But... Ooh. He cut that last one out in the notes. but it starts off with that recording of essentially Eisenhower's farewell address.
It wouldn't have rolled off the tongue as well. Military Industrial Congressional Complex.
That's
right?
That's true. Yeah, it is a bit of a mouthful.
It is tough, and if only there were current events that had anything to do with that. But
So Eisenhower's warning about the military industrial complex.
That was heated and nothing to worry about that.
Yep. And I think it sort of situates you in like, hey, these are the real facts. Cause look, this is an actual recording of Eisenhower talking about these things. So I think it tried to frame the movie in terms of like, this is the real story.
And it's interesting because, yeah, it sets you up to expect a lot of real archival footage.
Yeah.
But we actually get a lot of simulated archival footage in this film.
That's true, yeah.
The majority, I want to say, of, because, of course, Gary Oldman plays Lee Harvey Oswald, including, like, they recreate his death, which, of course, was actually recorded and could have been used as archival footage with Gary Oldman. So it's kind of interesting how it kind of sets you out to be like, oh yeah, we're almost in a documentary aesthetic.
Yeah, and so they then move on to it's like a voiceover about the Bay of Pigs by Martin Sheen. So again, it's almost like it's a documentary. And it's like it's like, oh, why is President Josiah Bartlett telling me about this the Bay of Pigs? So it's like setting you up emotionally and sort of, or at least like the sort of audience that is going to eat this shit up. You have archival audio. You immediately follow it with Martin Sheen's voiceover about the Bay of Pigs invasion. And it's just like setting the scene for leading up to JFK's assassination.
The Martin Sheen thing is wild too, because obviously this film comes out before The West Wing, but the ability to watch this film without The West Wing in your head is lost to us historically.
Impossible. Yeah. My note for this, the very first note was, I'm just going to pretend this is Josiah Bartlett doing the voiceover. So I don't, you can't not do that. So that's in my mind now. And it has almost this kind of momentous feeling to it in the beginning, but then suddenly the music changes. Things get very ominous because good old JFK.
By John Williams, by the way.
I know, I didn't know that coming into this. Everyone was involved in this film.
He also has to be one of the most represented figures in the pod. We haven't always talked about him, but the number of times we've done movies he scored has to be very high.
Yeah, at least 2, because we've done 2 Spielbergs. So, but yeah, so the John Williams scored music, it turns sour as, I guess the framing is essentially that JFK wasn't into this whole military industrial complex.
Yeah, you're kind of given, it's like the Eisenhower speech is kind of telling you who killed Kennedy right off the bat.
Yeah.
In Stone's eyes, but it's not like an individual, it is this complex, right? It's the idea is like Kennedy was killed because he was in the way of this process that exceeds any one individual, right?
Yeah.
This is the big bad in some way is this more diffuse complex than it is any one person.
Yeah. So we all know what's happening. The assassination happens. It like just does a run through. And like you said,
we get a lot of Bay of Pigs shit, we should say.
Yes, no, that's definitely a big theme.
Well.
Bay of Pigs, it does
Cuban
not
Missile
go.
Crisis.
It's all of that.
And this is for, this is 1991. This is not like, it's not meant to inform you of these events. This is just kind of like, this is for the boomers in attendance to be like, yeah, like it's like a greatest hits compilation at the beginning, right?
Right, yeah. You're seeing like, oh, I remember those events. So this is, again, rooted in reality because, look, these are all the things that I remember happened.
Yeah, I'm back in my childhood. I remember being in class, being told Kennedy had been shot. My dad talks about like being asked to pray for him in his class, which was of course a violation of the separation of church and state, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, anyhow, that's the beginning of the film. It like starts to blend together. Like when they start showing after the assassination, when they start showing Lee Harvey Oswald, it's not actually Lee Harvey Oswald. It is Gary Oldman as Lee Harvey Oswald.
And it's such a weird performance by Oldman, like because he's almost only ever seen recreating iconic images of Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, he has very few lines. Yeah, it's like much more in the mannerisms. He doesn't get like a big
Oscar-y speech or something, right? It's a very chameleon-ish, disappearing into the film performance by Oldman.
Which I think, again, if the premise of your film is that he didn't kill JFK, you want that to be the case. So it does make sense. But
exactly, yeah. He's not really a character in this. He's like an archival trace.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And
as is Kennedy, right? Like nobody plays Kennedy in this film. We never see Kennedy other than through archival footage, and then I guess somebody plays his dead body at one point there when we see like footage of the autopsy. But
yeah, we're going through. I think that was Rob Reiner played his body, and so we're introduced to this.
He actually forced his way on set. He was like, "Excuse me."
I love JFK. I need to be the body. Okay.
Are you gonna shave the beard? No.
No. Are you gonna? Yeah. He's just yeah. Okay. Shit. So we're introduced to our lead character at this point, Jim Garrison, played by Kevin Costner. It's sort
the
of
district
now,
attorney of New Orleans.
Exactly. And so it sort of is now moving into, okay, this is now the present time and the plot is now progressing. They see like, oh, Kennedy's been shot. Oh, is he okay? And then, of course, they go down to the bar and he's not. I will say one thing about this film, an actual authentic representation in a lot of these scenes of New Orleans in a way that if this film were made today, they wouldn't film it in New Orleans and it wouldn't look, you'd be like, oh, this is like Georgia. This is like somewhere where you got some like it actually felt like New Orleans in a lot of these scenes, which was
it's nice. Such an interesting aspect of this movie is that this is a New Orleans movie.
Yes,
like through and through. Almost every actor, and this cast is stacked, almost every actor in this film has to do a Louisiana accent.
I'm so glad you said this because there was a line that I made here, and we don't need to dig into it. But what was in my mind was this film is an incredible time capsule of all of the actors in Hollywood from the 80s and 90s and what they think a New Orleans accent sounds like. And some of them are quite good and some of them not so much. But it's like, it's quite a time capsule. I think it's like real great piece of historical evidence. So that's a great point.
I don't want to derail us too much, but I have to ask, as a former resident of the Mississippi Delta for a long time, how long were you there, Ethan?
About a decade.
Yeah, so you were there for 10 years, going to New Orleans often. You should have a bit of an ear for this. Who do you think has the best New Orleans accent in this film, and who has the worst?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so again, Mississippi is not New Orleans, but they like to say that Mississippi has two capitals, Memphis and New Orleans. And so I was there a lot. And I mean, I think the obvious answer of the worst to me would probably be John Candy because he's so over the top. But like,
you're as crazy as your mama. Goes to show it's in the genes. You have any idea what you're getting yourself into, Daddy-O? The government's gonna jump all over your head, Jimbo, and go cock-a-doodle-doo. Good day to you, sir.
But it's like, oh, you almost can't say that because like he knows what he's doing. Like it's like a bit
so good though.
I know, no, it's so good. Like obviously he's doing a bit. So like to me, that's not even really like a New Orleans thing. It's just like he's just like that's just his character. I think Tommy Lee Jones isn't terrible, and he's from Texas, I think. So maybe that's why
he is.
I trade everywhere. I am accused as are all businessmen of all things, I somehow go about my business, make money, help society the best I can, and try to promote free trade in this world.
Kevin Costner isn't off. Here's who I think the worst is. If I had to choose, I would probably say Kevin Bacon.
Bullshit, man. Fascism is coming back. I'm gonna tell you this. The day that communist son of a bitch died was a great day for this country.
Like, he does like a Southern thing, I guess, but New Orleans is not like a stereotypical Southern accent, like a Southeastern accent. It's a very different thing going on there. So I think he actually had the worst, I would say.
Wait, so Kevin Bacon has the worst?
Yes.
Okay, and so who has the best?
Tommy Lee Jones wasn't terrible. I think Tommy Lee Jones, the problem is, which we'll get into, he's also playing a character who is gay in a way that being gay is like a central premise to this film, and I think that influenced how he played his character in a way that took away from
trying to code the character as because, as we'll get into, not only is his character gay, the film thinks he's gay, and that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that took away from his. I think that probably fucked up his accent. That was his character that he was trying to do.
You imagine how many times did Oliver Stone stop filming to be like, you don't sound gay enough?
Oh God, it was probably a lot. Yeah, it's bad. I almost like Joe Pesci in that he isn't really doing a whole thing there, and that's what you would encounter those sorts of characters. So I appreciated him. Kevin Costner wasn't terrible. He still had a bit of the I've got a Southern accent going on, but he wasn't as into it as Kevin Bacon was, and I think that was perhaps his saving grace.
But someday, somewhere, someone may find out the damn truth. We better, or we might just as well build ourselves another government, like the Declaration of Independence says, to when the old one ain't working, just a little farther out west.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious if our listeners have any thoughts of the best one. I don't think any of them were
If we've got
great.
anyone with knowledge of Louisiana not dialectics. What's the term?
The New Orleans style dialectical materialism.
You know what I'm trying to say. What is the word for dialects? That's
the word.
Okay, so it's basically the same word.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If anyone out there knows about this stuff, we would like to know. Write in yourtallpod@gmail.com and let us know who has the best and worst accents in the movie.
So I feel like almost one of the best accents is Michael Rooker, in that he doesn't have a New Orleans accent, which is what you would expect from a Fed in New Orleans,
he's
or someone
from
who was a
Alabama.
Fed. Yeah, but he would understand oh yeah, obviously someone that works for the district attorney that has this background is gonna not have that deep accent. So I almost appreciated his out of all of them. Anyways,
Cool. All right, so getting back into it.
Kennedy is dead.
So do we get a sense of why exactly Jim Garrison begins this quest? We just kind of get the sense he really loved Kennedy.
You get some of these lines where it's okay, Oliver Stone, you wrote this. Where when they announced that Kennedy's dead, he goes, "God, I'm ashamed to be an American today." Those sorts of I think it starts as just he's disgusted that it happened, but then he becomes disgusted with the fact that the investigation is utter bullshit. He's like, what the fuck are these people doing? This makes no sense. They're throwing us under the bus when we try to bring people in to help them with their investigation. So he, I think, gets pissed off. That's the initial, because I think there's a 3-year time gap, but his initial disgust is with how things are going down before that. And then there's a post-war investigation thing that goes down.
So the assassination happens. Less than a year later, the Warren Commission concludes that Oswald is guilty and acted alone, and that also Jack Ruby, who kills Lee Harvey Oswald, acted alone. And Garrison reopens the investigation in 1966. So we're now 3 years later.
You know who plays Earl Warren in the film?
I do, actually. Jim Garrison.
Jim Garrison plays Earl Warren.
Yeah,
I thought
with a
that was
cameo.
Yeah, how about
Yeah.
that?
It's very cool. Like,
yeah.
like I said, everyone is in this film.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah, that's what's. I think I would say this, but prior to that time gap, it seems like Jim Garrison's character, the Kevin Costner's character, Jim Garrison, is doing some of these initial investigations just to check out, because he's like, oh shit, Lee Harvey Oswald was hanging out in New Orleans. I need to do this. So we're introduced to...
he's doing like a pre-internet version of just kind of snooping around and doing his own research, right?
Yeah. So we're introduced to Joe Pesci.
I just wish we had him. I wish we had him around when the vaccines came out. Think of all the lives that could have been saved.
Oh, but Fauci was over here in Wuhan.
Fauci was over here in Wuhan. I'm ashamed to be an American today.
But anyways, through that, we're introduced to like some of the slate of characters, like Joe Pesci's character, which is what, David Ferry.
One of the most interesting characters in JFK lore.
Yeah.
He's got alopecia. The film doesn't even, there's a lot of like lived in stuff with the depiction of Ferry, because he's got alopecia and he wears like a toupee and fake eyebrows and stuff. And like the film never really fully explains that. But they do like recreate it, and like he has all these rats in his apartment because he's researching cancer to try to cure his own. And he wanted to be a Catholic priest, but couldn't because he was secretly homosexual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're introduced to him. You kind of get these introductions to this other character, Clay Shaw, that seems to be lurking in the background there. But yeah, we have this time gap, and then essentially Jim Garrison decides, like, I'm gonna investigate the Kennedy assassination. I think that there was a conspiracy that Clay Shaw was behind, and I'm gonna investigate it.
Yeah, well, we should say it's Clay Bertrand at this point.
Oh yes, excuse
the person they're looking for, right?
Yes.
So there's this sense of like, so David Ferry had clear links to Lee Harvey Oswald. Garrison doesn't feel like those links have been fully explored by the Warren Commission. And this is kind of the precipitating link that he's looking into, right? Is the connection between Oswald and Ferry. And this leads him, and I'm not entirely clear on exactly how the film establishes him going there, but this leads him to his first big witness, which is Kevin Bacon playing Willie O'Keefe, who I think is a fictional composite character of some kind. I don't think is like a real person. But Willie O'Keefe is a male prostitute and also a fascist, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And kind of a preview of what the film's thesis might be, who's serving time in prison for solicitation. And Garrison goes to talk to him.
Yes.
I'm going to keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
I was giving a beat in case you wanted to jump in. And he gives this long speech about how fascism's coming back, but not in a bad way. He's pretty excited about it. And he's very anti-Kennedy, right? He seems to be associating Kennedy with communism. He likes fascism. He wants fascism to come back. And just keep in mind, keep in your head this connotation between homosexuality. Keep in your mind this connection between homosexuality and fascism, which is going to be something that the film traffics in more. But the key piece of information that Willie O'Keefe provides Garrison is this name, Clay Bertrand. He says that being involved in the gay society of New Orleans, he witnessed Ferry talking to a man that he calls Clay Bertrand about the assassination of JFK. He talks about essentially being hired as a male prostitute by this Clay Bertrand, and them having this very ornate dinner in this New Orleans mansion with a black butler in a tuxedo. There's a lot of weird racial, like fucked up, like antebellum racial politics to the whole ordeal as well, right? And
yeah, that's New Orleans.
yeah.
And
I don't know, I don't want to jump ahead, but we get the sense of like, okay, there's this figure, Clay Bertrand, who the film also kind of visually tells us is played by Tommy Lee Jones, who we will later learn, just because, like, it's too hard to keep track of when we know what information, but we'll later learn, at least the film is telling us, that Clay Bertrand is Clay Shaw. So Clay Shaw is a real person, and Clay Bertrand is a name that is in the Warren Commission, I believe. And one of the theses of the film and one of the claims of Jim Garrison is going to be that the real man, Clay Shaw, is the Clay Bertrand from the Warren Commission, and that this was like an alias that he used in gay society.
Yeah. So essentially there's a time jump here to 1967 where Jim Garrison gets back into the case. He's not happy with the Warren Commission report. And so he starts interviewing more witnesses and essentially goes down this rabbit hole of the Kennedy assassination, where you start to get a sense that there are grander things afoot. This whole military industrial complex that has been sitting in the shadows throughout the whole film seems to be a central player.
And we can't overestimate the degree to which this film just like info dumps. It's info dump the film. It's just like a huge percentage of this film is people talking and just saying information that basically can't be followed.
Yeah, and probably the biggest one of these is when Jim Garrison goes to D.C. and bumps into who I think we will simply refer to as Clute. But he,
in my headcanon, this is Clute.
I think I texted you when this scene happened. I just, in all caps, Clute's back, baby. Yeah. So this is Donald
X,
Sutherland.
Yes, the mysterious X. Which, speaking of like X-Files, which also has it has a rotating cast of like informants that work with Mulder, but one of whom is known as X.
Yeah.
But Donald Sutherland comes back. Is Donald Sutherland, we've been speaking a lot about like our trends and our people that we go back to all the time. Yeah. Is Donald Sutherland the actor of the podcast, the way James Cameron is the director of the podcast?
He might be.
We've done at least 3 films now. We've done JFK, Clute, and Virus.
Yeah. And they're like, it's such a diverse portfolio as well of films we've seen with him in them. So I think that alone, best. That
the fucking best. I love him.
Yeah, it's so good. So we're gonna do Hunger Games next. So yeah, no, he shows up as Mr. X. He identifies himself as X, and he has like a 15-minute monologue in the middle of this film, and you see like flashbacks. He lays out the entire, here's what he thinks happened.
Yeah, and this is maybe the moment in the film where we most coherently get in one of these info dump scenes a conspiracy theory, not just a poking of holes, not just a partial facts dossier, but a theory of what happened.
Yep.
Which is essentially that the highest levels of government, including the CIA and the military-industrial complex and Johnson and all these people and organizations, worked together as co-conspirators to assassinate and cover up the truth of the assassination of JFK. Because X alleges JFK was going to pull the United States out of the Vietnam War.
Yeah. There's some line where he's like, well, we didn't go into Cuba, and Cuba's a lot closer than Vietnam, so why are we going into Vietnam? which I guess the military-industrial complex would not like that sort of statement. So, yeah.
And I mean, this scene rules. I just want to say, so maybe we can sit with it a little. Like, we don't need to get into all the information, but this section of the film, I think, most exemplifies what its most interesting formal quality is, which is it uses the technique of montage as a visual representation of conspiracy. And essentially what we get in this scene is this long monologue delivered expertly by Donald Sutherland set to this montage of images. And we get shots of the Washington Monument, and we get shots of the corridors of power. We get color, we get black and white, we get archival, we get dramatic, and it all forms this coherent whole, which is something that film can do, right?
And it is a blending of archival footage with footage that has been edited in a way to look archival, to have the sort of grain effect, and to see like, no, this is also real, but it is like, recorded for the film JFK. So, yeah.
And there's a certain way in which it's like, regardless of whatever you think actually happened, this film is able to, through the montage technique, produce its own truth. And it's really interesting to me because you think back to like, some of the theorists of montage in like the Soviet Union, right? And the idea that like montage could be used to like educate the masses, right? Montage could be used as a tool of truth, as a tool of education, as a way of waking you up rather than lulling you to sleep like Hollywood studio films were accused of doing. And maybe unintentionally, part of what Stone is revealing in this scene, even if he thinks he's giving us truth, and I think this is where the film is really interesting when we think of contemporary conspiracy theory culture and QAnon and whatnot, is that what's important is actually the form, not the content. And you can imagine how, especially in an era of information overload, in an era of the internet where you can find an infinite amount of information to back up anything you want to believe, how the form of something like montage can be used to create truth about almost anything. You could do this same kind of aesthetics to prove to someone why they shouldn't get vaccinated for COVID, or why adrenochrome is being harvested from youth in a pizza place in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. And only one of those two things is true. And so, like, I think it's... But it's like really true in that the form of the montage presents a clarity in that like everything before and after this is so many just vignettes of things happening in this larger conspiracy, but really with especially the Donald Sutherland scene, you get the nice bow on it, clear picture of what's happening
together.
And to me, it's much more a scene of X is essentially Oliver Stone and Kevin Costner as Jim Garrison is the audience. And you have this concluding piece where at the end of all the montage, what Jim Garrison says is, which is, I wrote it down because it's such a silly line, but it is like encapsulating like hopefully how you're feeling for Oliver Stone at the end of this, which is he says, I can't believe they killed him because he wanted to change things in our time, in our country. So,
man, that moment was a real, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Kevin Costner, but, and I think he does an okay job in this movie, but when he has to go toe to toe with Sutherland in this scene, it's like watching like Michael Jordan play against a high school team.
And you know what really ties it together? As he's saying, in our time, in our country, Donald Sutherland speaks over him and just starts going on to the next line. I don't know why they kept that cut, but they do. Donald Sutherland's like, let's go on. Come on. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. They killed him because he wanted to change things. In our time.
They've been doing it
in
all
our
through
country.
history. Kings are killed, Mr. Garrison. Politics is power, nothing more.
I love
Donald
that.
Sutherland comes in. It's a true like minute for minute MVP performance. Just no time is wasted.
Yeah.
And then so anyway, so we've got all this information.
I want to do one more thing while he's in DC because it's so overwrought. He goes to Kennedy's grave and there's like a black father with his son that rolls up and is like paying their respect. It's so overwrought. It's
man, I don't know if I saw that. I wonder if that's not in
Really?
the director's cut.
it's a
Right.
little much.
I
The
have to
vener-
say,
yeah.
it is equally possible I was simply not paying attention. Because
So I mean,
if it came-
afterwards we can chat about like the veneration of Kennedy that this movie implies, but that to me was just
Absolutely.
like, Jesus. Okay. So
Yeah.
So he's bringing this trial. We're not going to go into it because it is such a hodgepodge of
Yeah.
flashbacks and different witnesses and so on.
Yeah, but I think there's two general, and again, it's almost impossible to remember the order these things happen because the film is so like a conspiracy theory, jumping all over the place and looping back and always trying to make sense of itself and retconning itself almost.
Uh-huh.
But I think the two things we need to get across that happen over the course of all this is these revelations about, or these supposed revelations about like New Orleans gay society. And then I think thematically linked to that is what's going on in Garrison's family and specifically his marriage to his wife played by Sissy Spacek.
Yes. They're having a rough time of it. Their marriage is strained. However, there are things like Robert Kennedy gets killed and they have post-assassination sex. And there's nothing like post-assassination sex.
Oh man, we don't get any of that anymore.
You know? I know. Wow.
The amount of blue balls people had across the country when Reagan survived, some people will never recover from that. And oh man, but you didn't get this, I don't think, because Ethan watched the theatrical cut and I watched the director's cut.
Yeah.
But
mine was only 3 hours and 6 minutes long.
yeah, mine was 3.5 plus. But in the director's cut, Garrison literally predicts the RFK assassination like 2 minutes before it happens. Like RFK's giving a speech. He says something like, they're gonna kill him before they let him be president. And then his wife's like, well, whatever. She goes to the bedroom. And then like 2 minutes later, like the assassination is played on that same television. And then he walks into the bedroom and is like, they killed him. And then the assassination sex happens.
So he has a strained marriage with this investigation.
I mean, it's a running theme throughout, right? So we haven't been checking in every moment of it.
Yeah.
But throughout the film, we've been getting this sense that like Garrison is missing family events. He's missing Easter. He is devoting too much time to this investigation, and it's resulting in his marriage being on the rocks.
Yeah. I mean, because also like his wife feels like their children are in danger now and things like that. So it's, it's understandable in that regard.
Yeah,
but-
weird phone calls are coming to the house and
Yeah.
things. And then she also accuses him of only attacking Shaw because of his homosexuality.
Wow. Could you
Which
imagine?
is something we should talk about a little more, because this is a big part of these revelations that Garrison is uncovering is that Clay Shaw is homosexual. David Ferry is homosexual. We actually get this scene with David Ferry where he talks about like he wanted to be a Catholic priest, but he couldn't because of his homosexuality.
Well, because they kick off, again, the film with Eisenhower's speech, and you know what the original draft of the military-industrial complex was.
What's that?
It was the military-industrial LGBTQ plus complex.
Wow, they were really ahead of the time.
He crossed out
they had
that
the
last
full
one
acronym.
right before.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I think not. Yeah.
But this is really where the film is trafficking in explicit homophobia.
Oh,
and
yes.
we'll talk more about this after the summary. But the scene I want to talk about is the one where we get this footage of this like Saturnalia-esque, like this like bacchanalia of sorts that Clayshaw is having. And I don't know if this is based on any factual information or not, but it's this like sex party essentially that, and everyone's wearing like full body paint and kind of dressed in these vaguely Greco-Roman ways. Which all of which, if this is actually something Clayshaw likes to do, I have no issue with it whatsoever. But it is clearly filmed in a way that is trying to make the viewer think that it is unsavory. And there is particularly a moment where David Ferry grabs or twists Clayshaw's nipple, and Clayshaw lets out this like growl or like howl almost, that in the sound mixing, the amount of like reverb and other kind of audio effects that are put on that howl to make it sound truly demonic is insane. Like, it's not just like, you know, we are made to think, the film is trying to make us think that this, to be clear, completely consensual sexual activity that is happening between these men who are engaged in various kinds of sexual play and, you know, sadomasochism, but in a completely consensual way, is this demonic thing almost.
Yeah. The only theory I can have here is like Oliver Stone like was shooting in New Orleans during Mardi Gras and saw some parades and saw some of the crews in Mardi Gras and was like, hey, I'm going to make this like a homophobic thing. I'm going to take all these cool, interesting ways that they celebrate the Mardi Gras season, and I'm gonna like take this over the top imagery and make it into like a homophobic thing. It's
also, to be clear, if you like to cover yourself in body paint and engage in sadomasochistic gay sex, that's cool.
Yeah, there's a crew for that in Mardi Gras. Absolutely.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you are engaged in a conspiracy against the government. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of reasons to be mad at a lot of people involved in this situation, right? But the film really starts to fixate on this. And what's interesting is it knows it's starting to fixate on this because then it has the plot beat of Garrison's wife accusing him of homophobia, because the film is trafficking in it so explicitly that it knows it has to, like, it's like when you tell your students in a paper, include the opposing view so you can refute it. Yeah. But its refutation is just Kevin Costner going like, no, I'm not doing that.
But this is what it does with everything as well. Like every aspect of what Oliver Stone thinks the assassination conspiracy was, it's someone will say like, well, that's crazy talk. And he'll be like, is it really? Or is it anti-American that you're saying that? Like, it's just like, he'll throw in those lines like that. And it's as if that, you know, resolves him of any culpability with anything. Yeah.
Yeah. The conspiratorial thinking takes this direction of it is impossible to disagree with any of it without that meaning you're part of the conspiracy, right?
Right. And I'm trying
to be clear, I think the CIA killed JFK personally, like just FYI. I just don't think Jim Garrison is right about how that happened or that it was a homosexual conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
I think there are much simpler ways to explain why the CIA would kill JFK than recourse to homophobia. But
yeah, and it's I mean, Kevin Costner is the perfect act. So props to Oliver Stone, because like this is such a Kevin Costner-esque character where, correct me if I'm wrong, like he doesn't have any character flaws. Maybe his family life is suffering, but that's not his fault. It's because he's committed to justice.
His flaw, it's like in an interview when they ask you what your greatest weakness is, and your greatest weakness is that you work too hard or you try too hard or you care too much about the job. Like that's his only flaw is he's too heroic.
Right. Which I feel is like a similar thing as someone who has not watched Yellowstone. Like his character in Yellowstone seems like the character who's too American. So like his flaw is that he's just too much of an American and these forces are trying to take him down.
Yeah. I also haven't seen Yellowstone, but to irresponsibly pontificate about it anyway, it does seem like Kevin Costner is really good And we talked earlier about, especially in those early scenes as the Kennedy assassination's happening, where he's ashamed to be an American and whatnot. He's really good at channeling the boomer consciousness.
Yeah.
And particularly, like, he's really good at occupying that space that certain boomers want to be in, where regardless of how problematic their specific politics are, they are convinced that they have transcended politics. They have transcended, like, the binary between left and right, and that they have arrived at this, but their transcendental position is actually just being, like, right-wing.
Yes, no, absolutely, which is perhaps best encapsulated with Kevin Costner in Man of Steel, where, like, rather than have any gray zone of, like, people might know that your son is a superhero, he's like, I'm just gonna die. I'm fine. Yeah. I'm just gonna die here.
I'm just
no. Anyways,
and so the trial does happen, and this is a real trial, and Clay Shaw, very notably, is the only person in history that was ever actually brought to trial for the assassination of JFK, because obviously Oswald was killed before a trial took place.
Yet.
That's right. That's goddamn right. And we'll talk about the final title card, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
the trial happens.
Yeah. We don't need to get into it. They do the whole This is where, like, the little clips always come from, like, back and to the left.
Yeah.
You know who came up with the magic bullet theory, which I
Who's
remembered because they mentioned it in the film. Pennsylvania hometown boy, Arlen Specter. Yeah, he's the one who came up with the magic bullet theory. So
yeah. So for those of you who didn't grow up in Pennsylvania in the 90s and aughts,
there is a
Arlen
specter haunting Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and Arlen Specter is the guy that is your head was beaten over with every year to demonstrate to you that not all Republicans were bad. It was like, oh, but look at this guy. He's reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, he's like the Kevin Costner of Republican senators.
Yeah. So I just wanted to call that out. Maybe this is the difference between Kevin Costner and going back all the way to Donald Sutherland. Kevin Costner has his big monologue in this, which is pretty thrilling. Like, it's like this crescendo of reenactments as he's explaining this. And it's like this blend of, like, if you believe the official story, this had to happen. How implausible is that versus, like, what perhaps did happen? So it's blending together those two pieces of what you're told to believe and what Kevin Costner is saying makes more sense. So it's sort of thrilling in that way, but it's not as good as when Donald Sutherland does it. But that's like the big crescendo at the end of just, like, coalescing this idea that, of course, it was a conspiracy, because to believe the official narrative is patently ridiculous.
And this is sort of the problem the film runs into, right, is it can poke holes in the official narrative because the official narrative is wrong.
Yeah.
But it does not actually offer a compelling, I think, alternative.
But this is the classic, issue with conspiracy theory, is that, like, you can poke holes in official narratives that exist. That doesn't mean that your proposed alternative is what actually happened.
But I do think there's, I think there are much more coherent alternatives to what happened in JFK than what we get into this film, is what I would say. Like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it leans on the fact that the official narrative makes no sense to be like, well, then obviously I've built up this whole courtroom scene to be like, well, obviously Clay Shaw is at the center of a conspiracy here.
Well, so because if you think about it, like, because the official narrative is that one man acted alone.
Yes.
And that obviously isn't right. So what had to have happened is that multiple men acted together. And if you ask me, that sounds pretty gay. Like, that essentially, I'm joking, but that is kind of the logic of the film.
Yeah.
Like, dudes doing stuff together. Ooh, I'm suspicious of that. Like, it's a complete conflation of all these completely unrelated things.
Yeah.
Based on a formal similarity of like it involves multiple men in a room together.
Yeah.
And it has no way of distinguishing between like the New Orleans Gay Society and the people that killed Kennedy, because it's just like
they're like all conspiracies apparently in Oliver Stone's mind. Like, yeah, it's just, again, compared to Donald Sutherland's scene, it's very overwrought. He ends his closing statement with like every cliche Americanism that he can. Well, I wrote a few down. He says, "Ask not what your country can do for you," which, I get, Kennedy, sure. But he also says, like, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Like, he's just throwing he's like,
shoot me in the head. God.
Every president that was shot in the head, I'm going to pull out all of their greatest quotes to close this out. And it's a bit much. So he loses.
Yep. And after less than an hour of deliberation.
Yep.
Which is presented to us as the viewer as like, look at what a bad job the jury did, and not like what a bad job Garrison did, because he was a maniac who couldn't see the forest for the trees. But I guess Wikipedia is telling me that he wins his wife and children's respect. Did you get that?
I sort of like it would show him pontificating and then like show behind him where his wife is sitting, and she's like had that face like, "Oh, I'm proud of you. You're doing what's right even though we know we're going to lose." I sort of got that feeling.
I think I was doing some projecting, and whenever they were showing the family, I was like projecting my own emotion on them, which is like, when is this going to be over? And I like that the film is 3.5 times longer than the jury deliberation was. Like, they could not have watched, not even close. They could not have watched JFK during that deliberation. They could barely have watched an episode of Luther. But he goes off to have a family.
Yeah.
And then we get this amazing final title card.
The final phrase that you're left with, as the credits roll, is, "What is past is prologue."
And then don't we get the dedication to the youth as well?
Oh, yeah. "Dedicated to the young, in whose spirit the search for truth marches on."
Yeah. And this title card is about to inspire a bunch of young men to look into the ethics of game journalism and the problems with woke culture and whether or not their vaccines work.
Because to be clear, again, one, I feel like nothing about how he set up this film, Oliver Stone, speaks to like a longer continuum of like, well, here's how the military industrial complex is continuing now, even past Kennedy, other than, I guess they have like a one scene where Lyndon Johnson's like, "We're going into Vietnam, haha." But so he doesn't actually set that up in the film. Also, dedicated to the young. No young people do anything in this film. It's literally just Kevin Costner against all of society trying to bring justice to the world. So the dedications are very strange in the context of the film.
And I think we would like to dedicate this plot summary to the listeners.
All right, so Devin, we've had this episode planned for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people know this, but we knew November 22nd was the anniversary of JFK's assassination.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
We celebrate it every year. We figured this is going to be the year. Let's actually put it to an episode. I've spent the last few months really putting in the work. I know we've talked about how Oliver Stone has his theories, but they don't necessarily hold up. And very jazzed about this because I have a game
Oh,
where if you can answer the minimum number of questions correct, it is going to tell you who actually murdered John
Ethan.
F. Kennedy.
Ethan, did you not check the Slack for the pod?
Should I have?
I did tell you I was actually going to do the game this week, and it is all done. Like, it's done.
Oh,
And so we do need to do it.
oh,
Well, this is awkward, but it's also something I like to call Vox Populi. All right, Ethan, I'm sorry about your research. I've done what I think you're going to recognize as much more important research, which is I've looked up who all the people in this movie are and the other movies they've been in.
that honestly
And as you
probably
can
took
imagine-
you. It honestly probably took you longer than it took me to figure out who killed JFK.
You should have seen the number of tabs I had open. But so something I think everybody notices when they watch this movie is this movie just has everybody in it.
Yeah.
And more specifically, no one is in this movie who isn't somebody. Like, no one's just like, oh, here's an actor I've never heard of. It's chock full of named names. And so I thought for once I would take control of the game.
Wow.
And we're gonna see how you fare for once.
This has
and
never
so-
happened.
So let me explain quick what the rules are. So I have picked out 16 actors from the film. They're all prominent, people that everybody's heard of. I'm not like scraping the bottom of the barrel
You can't
here.
say that statement because you haven't seen how I do at this game yet, but go on.
Yeah. And so the way this game is going to work is so I took these 16 names and then I used a random number generator and mixed them up. So they're not in like order of prominence or anything. They're in a completely random order. With the, I had to manipulate the results somewhat to avoid problems, but we are going to kind of do golf rules for this, where lowest score is best. And so for each actor, as we go through, I'm going to give you one after the other movies that these actors have been in.
Oh no.
And there's obviously no way to quantify this, but I'm sort of trying to guess what you know, which I don't fully know. But I tried to order them by obscurity. So we're starting with the more obscure, and then by the time we get to the end of the list, it's like a dead giveaway. And so for each, so you will try to guess which actor I'm listing the filmography of.
Wow.
And you will get the score of the number of films it takes you to guess, if that makes sense. And so it's like golf, where a lower score is better. So if you get everybody on the first guess, you would have 16, which is the lowest possible score. Obviously, as we go, people are going to be crossed off, so it'll become a little easier. But also because of that, there is an additional rule that you only get 2 guesses per actor, because otherwise you could just kind of guess the entire cast each time. And so that's to incentivize you doing real guesses and not just saying random names. So you have to be strategic about when am I going to use my 2 guesses. And you can pass is the alternative if you want to just get the next film. And so if you use your second guess and you don't get it, you're going to get 12 points, which is the highest possible point total you could get from any of these.
I'm gonna run up the numbers.
So
listen, I've only ever seen superhero films, which you think would be an issue. However,
there are some superhero films on this list, let me tell you.
Okay, I've only seen superhero films and grumpy old men. So let's see how this works.
Okay, so just a little trivia question. Something I learned researching this game. This isn't for your points, but how many films did Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau do together?
Oh my god, because they were a partnership. They were like a comedy duo.
You've already named 2, Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men.
Yeah.
But
that was like, they're like, oh, it's like these two back together again. So I'm assuming in the 50s and 60s they were in a lot. I'm going to say something like 15.
They were in 10 films.
Okay, that's
from
actually
66 to 98.
Okay, that seems to be
I'm
like
not going to name them because some of them are on this list.
Okay,
but 10 films together, including JFK. And a little snippet I love is that the cast in this, other than Kevin Costner, is pretty much in alphabetical order.
Oh,
I think Kevin Bacon actually gets second billing, and then Tommy Lee Jones gets third, so that doesn't work. But it's mostly in alphabetical after that point, and that means Lemmon and Matthau are back to back.
Wow.
That's not entirely true, so just cut all of that. Just cut.
That's not true at all.
It seems to be true for sections though, because you have like LMORS.
Hey, humans are good at identifying patterns that aren't there. So
yeah,
good on us.
Anyway, we're gonna do this game, and we'll see how it goes. All right, and as you know, I've been doing a lot of the games in terms of being the contestant. And so I empathize a lot with the contestants, so I'm not trying to fuck you on this. We're just out here to have a good time. I'm definitely not up to any kind of shenanigans. So let's begin with actor number 1, and the first film is Adventures in Babysitting.
Adventures in Babysitting is a film I do not know. Do
you want to pass, or do you want to take a guess?
Fuck. I'm gonna pass, and I'm gonna keep that information for round 2. Okay.
All right. We're staying on the same actor.
Yeah. Round 2, actor 1.
Yeah. So this actor was also in Pawn Shop Chronicles.
Not helpful. Let's go to the third movie.
Okay. Strange Days.
Is this Laurie Metcalf?
No.
Fuck. Okay.
That is one of your 2 guesses.
Uh-huh.
So you have one more guess remaining.
Yep.
The fourth film.
Yeah.
Ed Wood.
Oh.
And remember, if you use your second guess and you're wrong, you will get 12 points.
Yeah, shit. Let's give me one more movie.
Jurassic World.
I mean, it doesn't really help. Let's go with Sissy Spacek.
That is wrong.
Damn it.
So you're going to get 12 points for this one.
Yeah, well, I had to shoot my shot.
Let me see if you would have gotten it. Let me see if you would have gotten it on the next one, because I think the next one's a lot easier. Men in Black.
Oh, is Tommy Lee Jones? What?
No. There's another one. Okay, I'll give you the final one, because I assumed you would get it from this one. Full Metal Jacket.
Maybe I just need to see a full list of actors in this film, because
you can bring the list of actors up.
I've got the cast. I'm looking at now the cast here.
The answer is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, I forgot he was in JFK.
He's not in much of it.
He's in Jurassic World?
He is in Jurassic World. That is what I'm told by the internet. I have not seen Jurassic World.
Oh. Well, yeah, okay. No, that is very obvious having been told the name, but I didn't know any of them. I wouldn't have known any of those up through Jurassic.
That's a tough one, but I think you're going to rebound on this next one.
Doubt it.
All right. Actor number 2, film number 1, I'm dancing as fast as I can.
John Candy.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
Okay, what's film 2?
All right. Remember, you can get you could be at like the 10th guess and you would still gain net points.
I
versus
know,
being
but
wrong.
I'm doing this in spite of that truth.
Yeah. Okay, so film 2, Lethal Weapon 4, and I'll give you a hint, that is not the only Lethal Weapon film this actor is in.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna pocket that information. Give me film 3.
Man on Fire.
Now I'm starting like maybe he's the bad guy in Man on Fire. I'm trying to think of. All right, give me another.
Once Upon a Time in America.
So it's gonna have to be someone who, let's see, like in the mid aughts is doing films, and then I guess the 90s. So who's doing films? Sort of a, but also what was the name of the first film?
I'm dancing as fast as I can. I want to encourage you to disregard that information.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Okay. We're getting very close to where where you're gonna know. So I'm gonna encourage you. I want to encourage you to go through more films before guessing if you're not sure. Because I feel bad about how badly the first one went. So the next film is A Bronx Tale. So you've got Once Upon a Time in America. You've got A Bronx Tale. You've got a sense of like, okay, like American, maybe like immigrant stories of some kind. You know,
I'm starting to get some ideas, but give me another.
Okay, I think you're gonna get it with this one. Home Alone.
Oh, I mean, well, that's Joe Pesci.
There you go, Joe Pesci. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sorry,
6
what was the
points.
first film?
I'm dancing as fast as I can.
Oh, when will we get a sequel?
It's a 1982 biographical film about somebody who knows who it's about. And Joe Pesci plays Roger.
Cool. I guess I should have gotten it with A Bronx Tale, but okay.
No, this is what I'm trying to do, right? It's like you get into like A Bronx Tale, you're like, if you know the film, you could get it. And then Home Alone, it's like iconic performance, right?
But again, you know me. We've talked about this. I haven't even seen The Godfather, Devin. So let's just see how this goes for me.
So I want to encourage you, lean into take more guesses. Don't make that second guess unless you're sure. Because like I said, 12 points, that's the worst. Like that's
Lay
the
it on
worst.
me. Give me the next one. I'm ready to roll.
All right. Film 1 for actor number 3, The Real Story of Happy Birthday to You.
John Candy.
Is that a real guess?
Yes.
It's wrong. Okay.
No. Okay.
Film 2.
Yeah.
Fort Apache, the Bronx.
Sorry, what is it? Fort Apache?
Fort Apache, comma, the Bronx. Which I almost wrote as Fort Apache because I was reading a list of films and it said Fort Apache, comma, the Bronx. And I was like, this actor was in Fort Apache and the Bronx, but it's one movie.
Is it a sequel? Like, is Fort Apache in the Bronx?
Let me give you a little flavor about Fort Apache. It's 81. Crime drama directed by Daniel Petrie. And it stars Paul Newman.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like a
Okay.
drama of sorts. And the second billed actor is this actor. So Paul Newman is the star. And then the second billed actor is this person.
Wow. And this is 81, you said. Okay.
81.
Give me another movie.
Gargoyles the movie, The Heroes Awaken. So a voice performance in an animated film.
I'm starting to get an idea, but give me another.
They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. So we're going back with this one. This is an old movie.
Yeah.
This actor's been around for a while. 1970.
I have an idea of who I think it is, but give me another movie.
Elf.
Okay. I think this is Ed Asner.
Correct.
Okay. Was Elf the giveaway, or was I at least had a couple
one more after that was Up.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Elf was like maybe that's a giveaway. Up was like if you don't get it.
Was he the old man in Up?
He's the voice of the old man.
Oh,
yeah.
see, Elf to me is because it's like it's an actual performance with his face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Up,
cool.
I was like, it would be like, who else could it be?
Well, but I was thinking it was Ed Asner when you were sort of giving me the anyways.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so play like a kid out there. Make the guesses if you want. Make the guesses if you want, but maybe
Well, John Candy
don't,
right
don't
out the
just
bat
guess
every
John
time.
Candy based on a movie you've never heard of.
Hey, roll the next one.
All right. This one, I think there's a lot of potential for you to get this one.
Okay.
This was an actor, I have to say, it was hard to find movies that weren't giveaways, I felt.
Wow.
So actor number 4, film 1, Romeo is Bleeding.
Okay, give me film 2.
The Scarlet Letter.
Okay, so someone who's serious. Give me the third movie.
A titular performance
Wow.
in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
So Shakespearean. I'm trying to think. Does Gary Oldman have Shakespearean roots? I'm gonna guess Gary Oldman.
And you're right.
Oh, I got one. Okay.
Oh,
I
great
didn't
job.
know he was in those, but it seemed very Gary Oldman-esque.
So let's see. So let me give you what was going to come, and tell me when you would have been 100% sure it was Gary Oldman.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal, an famously uncredited performance in Hannibal.
Okay.
True Romance, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That would have been it.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Dracula would have. Yeah, that would have done it.
Nice. The last 7 of the Gary Oldman list are giveaways because it's just like there's so many iconic performances.
Yeah.
Also, we should say piece of shit, fuck you, hope you die. But, great actor.
Yeah.
All right. Actor number 5, The River.
Why the fuck would you name a movie The River? Let's just do something more.
Let's
Go
find
on.
out why you would name a movie The River. As a movie that I had never heard of before doing this, it's because you were making a film about the story of a struggling family, a struggling farm family in the Tennessee Valley. And there's bank foreclosures and floods.
Okay.
And it's 1984 is when this film comes out.
Yeah. I've got some ideas, but go on.
The Straight Story, the only G-rated David Lynch film.
Wow.
The Straight Story.
It's not Dune, so that's the only David Lynch film I've seen. So we'll have to give me a third one.
Coal Miner's Daughter.
I want to say that I think I know who this is, but I'm not going to say it yet. I want you to give me a fourth film.
The Help.
I want to say that I was wrong about who I thought this was.
I will say there are a number of films across this game that multiple actors are in. So there are multiple actors that were in Coal Miner's Daughter that are in JFK.
Yeah, but that's
only one that is in Coal Miner's Daughter, The Help, The Straight Story, and The River.
Are you sure? Did you double check that? Did you actually check that?
We've had multiple films about families, right? We've had The River is about a farm family. We've had Coal Miner's Daughter. We've had The Help.
And it's very down to earth, salt of the earth sort of families. Okay, give me another film.
Badlands.
Am I supposed to know this film?
It's maybe it's an iconic performance. Yeah.
Not to me. Give me another. John Candy.
So this, I have to say, is the last film on the list because, and I want to say, even if you don't know this film, I'm trying to give you a hint with the title here.
Yeah.
The title of the film is 3 Women.
Okay, I got it. The Help was actually being filmed in Greenwood, Mississippi when I had first moved down there. I think this is Sissy Spacek.
Correct, and you got it in 6.
I got it in. Well, I should really just wait until the last film is what you're telling me. Oh, I thought it was John Candy. I should have guessed John Candy at the end there. Okay, go on.
All right, actor number 6. Film 1, Dirty Dancing.
Is this a trick?
Could be. But the actor was in Dirty Dancing. There's no denying that.
No, wait. Kevin Costner was in Footloose. Was he in Dirty Dancing?
I think you're thinking of Patrick Swayze.
No, I know he was in it, but I didn't know. Okay, give me a second film.
The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars.
What the fuck? Could that be our next episode? Give me a third film.
Hercules. This is the Disney Hercules.
What number are we on now?
3.
Give me another film.
Rat Race.
Okay, I should have it. I mean,
Comedy, 90s comedy.
yeah. Oh, I know the film.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, but who the fuck from this cast list? I mean,
Take your time.
dare I say John Candy?
That is wrong.
God damn it! Give me another film.
Space Jam.
I am so curious.
Look at that cast list.
I think I'm looking at the cast list, and I think I'm zeroing in on someone. Give me another film.
Okay, this should be the giveaway. I think.
Okay.
Jurassic Park.
So I should know it at this point. So
I think
let
you
me
should.
look
I can
through.
give you a real giveaway if you.
Oh,
need it.
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight. That's right.
Oh yeah, space. It's the problem is I just think of him as Newman, and so I'm looking through the cast list, and I didn't even stop on him. Okay,
He's mostly a TV actor, right?
Oh, so
I tried to give you some hints with the comedy.
No, but John Candy is sort of the comedy roles. That's okay.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. Actor number 7.
How many more of these? There's 16.
We have 16.
Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus.
No.
Okay.
Listen, I made the list, so we're gonna do them all. It's gonna get easier because you're narrowing down the cast list.
Yeah, I haven't
less
been. I need to
actors.
cross them off.
To be clear, no actors are used multiple times. There's no
Yeah.
tricks. I picked 16 actors,
Yeah.
and All right, so
Okay.
this is actor number 7.
Lay it on me.
A Perfect World.
Give me another movie.
13 Days. Another movie about Kennedy. About the Cuban Missile Crisis. 13 Days.
I'm going to give my first actor guess, Martin Sheen.
That is wrong.
God damn it.
Number 3. For the Love of the Game.
I think I might know who this is, but give me another.
A titular performance in Wyatt Earp. One could say maybe a performance that's giving hints of things to come from this actor.
That's Kevin Costner, right?
That's right.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
You got it in 4. If you had
I was like,
kept
I hope
going,
this
we
is
would
not
have
Kevin
had.
Bacon, please. Okay.
If you had kept going, we would have had The Bodyguard, American
Okay.
Flyers, The Big Chill, The Untouchables, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping we got to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. I was really hoping you somehow missed Dances with Wolves.
I appreciate the effort you
When
put
you
in. I
mentioned
think
Man of Steel earlier in the pod, I was like, okay, that's in the brain. I have to move that down.
No, I think The Bodyguard I would have gotten it.
Nice. Yeah, that I thought was like, yeah, you should know it at that point. Again, another actor where it's like, I could have fucked you and just picked like 10 unheard of films, but I was like, you should get these by then.
Never seen 13 Days. That's about like the Cuban Missile Crisis, right?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters as a kid. Kind of liked it at the time, but I'm sure it sucks ass.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, number 8. First film, I believe this is also a titular performance in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Give me another.
Days of Thunder. The Tom Cruise car racing movie.
Kevin Bacon.
That is wrong.
God damn it. Give me another.
F9. The 9th Fast and the Furious movie.
Okay. It's probably not Walter Matthau.
I'll give you that one. It's not Walter Matthau.
I didn't guess it. Give me another
Walter Matthau's still on the board somehow.
They CGI'd his face onto.
It's
Okay,
just
sorry.
like you walking. It's just like you sadly walking through a courtyard, and then Donald Sutherland walks up, and he's like, "Walter Matthau is still in the game, so you need to be on the lookout for You know, the first actor coming up who has old films. It's got to be Walter Rampant.
Yeah. Are you willing to go on the pod and tell me this? Oh, me? Not a chance in the world. Okay. Give me another film.
Tombstone. Gritty, Western.
Yeah, I know what Tombstone is. I really don't want
to highlight some of the qualities that this actor has. Kind of a
I
gritty
know. I'm
actor.
trying to. Again, there are so many people in JFK that I'm gonna need to.
It's
check.
hard to find the truth when there's too much information. That's the point we're trying to prove through this game thematically. Do you want one more?
As I'm clicking through all the characters, yeah, just get. I'm like looking through the cast list. Just give me another film.
All right, this should settle it. Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first one.
Yes.
Oh. Michael Rooker.
Correct.
He's
That's
the father
He's the guy with
figure
the
guy,
mohawk.
the blue
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, whatever that guy's name is.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And I gotta say,
I
it's
didn't
a
even-
good thing you got it on 5 because 6 and 7 wouldn't have helped you much because 6 was
Volume
Guardians of
2.
the Galaxy Volume 2 and 7
What
was
did
Guardians
it for
of the
me is
Galaxy
as
Volume
I'm
3.
I'm holding my mouse over their names and it shows me a picture of what they look like now, and I was like, oh, that guy is definitely the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, great.
Yep.
Superhero film. What'd
Okay.
I tell you? All right.
Good job. You got that one in 5. We've been doing pretty well. You know, your
Yeah.
highest number since you kind of fucked up on the first one, which I think we can chalk up to learning the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You haven't done worse than 6 so far.
Okay. All right. 12 more to go.
Actor number 9, film 1, The Silent Partner. One of the great Canadian films of all
John
time.
Candy.
Yes!
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Oh,
I
and
want
that
you to
was
know
the
I was
trick.
going to say John Candy before you said great Canadian films, just so you know.
Yeah, because the rest were Home Alone, The Blues Brothers, Cool Runnings, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
He
Uncle
doesn't
Buck.
miss. He just did not miss a
One
single
of the great.
time.
You know, can we do a John Candy series? Can we
Yeah,
commit
I
to
mean,
that
it's-
for the next season of the pod?
There's just
I
like
want to do.
it could be a whole season. It's
Yeah. I want to do Uncle Buck. I want to do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Cool Runnings, the works.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got what? You've got Planes, Trains, Automobiles for Thanksgiving. You've got Home Alone for Christmas. Like you've
You've
presumably
got Cool Runnings for when the Olympics are on.
yes, you've got Canadian bacon for whenever. Do they celebrate Independence
Before
Day
11
there?
a.m. any day at McDonald's.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Great job on that one.
All I needed
Great
was to
job.
get him on the first one. That's all I wanted out of this game. So, okay.
Yeah. And this is the thing. We're getting to the part of the game where if you want to use an early fastball,
Not true.
you can, you know?
No, but you can't because there are so many people in this goddamn film. Give me another, Devin.
Yeah. Okay. So, actor number 10, film 1, The Company Men.
I've heard of this film. Give me a second.
Rolling Thunder.
I'm between two.
Well, you could use one guess.
Is it Tommy Lee Jones?
You're fucking right, it
Fuck
is.
yes!
Here we go,
Let's
baby.
go. Because these are
Here
like
we go.
serious. These are like serious films, you know.
And
I
we
thought it
would
was
have
either-
gotten after that Coal Miner's Daughter, which we've heard before.
Yeah, that's
Natural Born Killers, Small Soldiers, The Fugitive, Batman Forever, Man in Black.
Yeah.
Another
That's-
film, another actor where it's hard to pick a film that's not an iconic performance because he's one of the
Yeah.
greats. All right, actor number 11. We're heating up.
Yeah.
We are heating up late, which is kind of how this game is designed to work. All right.
Is it? It's designed.
Well, it was more that I couldn't figure out a way to prevent that possibility from happening because I was like, you will inevitably eliminate actors, so there's no way for me to prevent, you have a smaller pool as we go.
Yeah.
But not every actor is on this quiz, so.
Good.
So actor 11, film 1, 6 Degrees of Separation.
I don't know. Give me another.
The Day of the Locust.
I don't know. Give me another.
The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen. Oh. I think is this. I'm trying to think. Is this one of the grumpy old men? Although The Dirty Dozen is a serious film, but that's like what, the 60s, 70s. That he would have been playing like a comedy role in that. So maybe
The Dirty Dozen is 1967. Wait a minute. Let me confirm something. Yep, 1967.
Okay. You're gonna have to give me another.
Don't Look Now. If this was a higher brow podcast, that would be a giveaway.
Well, give me another, because it's not.
All right. This, I hope, helps. MASH.
The film?
The film MASH, which comes before the television series MASH, directed by Robert Altman, starring Elliot Gould and...
Oh, I've got this. Alan Alda.
No.
Fuck.
Is Alan Alda in JFK?
No, I don't think he is.
Yeah, no, he's only in the sitcom MASH. So
he's not in the movie?
This is the actor who in the film MASH plays the same character that Alan Alda plays in the show. If you want to take a second guess before I give you the next one, or I could just give you the next one.
I'm going to be real with you. I've not seen MASH, so give me one more guess.
All right. This is giveaway time.
Okay.
Virus.
You don't need to say this is giveaway time. That's insulting.
Okay.
We're talking about Donald Sutherland.
Edit it
Donald
out.
Sutherland.
Okay. Donald Sutherland.
God
there we go.
damn
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, no, Donald Sutherland plays Hawkeye in the movie.
Now I know. I haven't ever watched the movie, so.
All right.
They say suicide is painless, but this game, is hurting me.
What they don't tell you, which is germane to this film, is that in the film MASH, the "Suicide is Painless" song is played when they host a living funeral for a character who has realized he's gay and has decided he wants to kill himself because being dead is better than being gay. So a long history of homophobia in Hollywood.
Yeah. Wow. We've cracked the code.
All right. Actor number 12. I think this is an interesting one, and I don't know what's going to happen. Friday the 13th. Don't know how much of a slasher guy you are.
We're talking like the original Friday the 13th.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this is one of our grumpy old men.
Let me see when the first film came out. 1980. The character's name is Jack.
You know what? Just because I have two guesses, I'm going to say Jack Lemmon.
That is not correct.
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
Okay, give me another.
Animal House.
Oh. Well, we've already used John Candy.
Definitely.
Animal House. I'm going to need one more guess.
Another John Candy film. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Is this Kevin Bacon?
It is.
Hey!
And this is kind of what I was going for with Kevin Bacon, is just he's in fucking everything. These are three films that have nothing to do with Kevin Bacon that Kevin Bacon is nonetheless in.
Who was he in Animal House?
He was a member of the rival fraternity.
Wow.
Chip Diller from Omega House. Or what I haven't seen that movie. So If we would have kept going, we would have gotten Wild Things, My Dog Skip, Frost Nixon, Tremors, A Few Good Men, Sleepers, Hollow Man, and Footloose.
Tremors would have done it for me easy. Classic film.
All right, actor number 13. An Oscar-winning performance in The Fortune Cookie.
We have to get to our grumpy old men, right? Is it Jack Lemmon?
It is not Jack Lemmon, no.
God damn it. Give me another movie, I guess.
Failsafe.
When did Failsafe come out? Am I privy to that information?
Around when Doctor Strangelove came out, they're like, it's a nuclear film. It's a nuclear disaster film. 64.
64?
Mm-hmm.
What is this film called?
Failsafe.
Failsafe?
It's like the serious version of Doctor Strangelove. It's like if you just took Doctor Strangelove and you took out all the comedy.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Do you want to know the character name?
Sure, yeah.
Professor Groteschiel. I don't know how to pronounce it. Groteschiel. I'll put it in the chat for you so you can see the outrageous spelling. I have no idea how to say it.
Oh my.
How would you say that?
Groteschiela?
Groteschiela?
I don't fucking know.
You want another one?
Yeah, give me one more film.
King Creole. Speaking of New Orleans.
Is it Walter Matthau? Is it the other grumpy old man?
Goddamn right.
God damn.
Goddamn right.
Started with the other grumpy old man. Fuck.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. Actor number 14. We're almost done here. We only got 3 actors left.
It's been a long road.
All right. Film 1, The China Syndrome.
What year was that?
1979.
Jack Lemmon.
Interestingly, yes.
Yes!
Good job. So interestingly, Failsafe starred Henry Fonda and had Walter Matthau in a supporting role.
Mm-hmm.
The China Syndrome stars Jane Fonda, his daughter.
Yep.
And
famous from
has
Clue.
Jack Lemmon in a supporting role. Also Michael Douglas in that movie.
Oh. Cool.
All right, so
and there are a
great job
lot
on
of
Jack
films. They've made a lot of these, haven't they?
There's a lot of films out there.
Okay.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could have given you 20 unguessable films for each of these people. You know?
Yep.
But I wanted it to be fair. Okay. Actor 15.
Home stretch.
Film 1. Gandhi.
Who was in Gandhi? I'm just gonna assume it's a British actor because that film was mostly just British actors. I don't know. Give me another.
Film 2. The subject was roses.
I don't know that film. Give me another film.
Nor do I. Film 3. Selma.
Oh.
The recent Selma.
Uh-huh.
From 2014.
I'm literally trying to see who we have left here.
An uncredited performance in Selma.
Seriously? I don't know. Give me one more.
Kennedy as John F. Kennedy.
Is it Martin Sheen?
You're goddamn right.
Who was he in Gandhi?
Let's find out.
Who the fuck did Martin Sheen play in Gandhi?
Let's find out.
What?
He played Vince Walker, a fictional journalist based on Webb Miller.
Oh, Webb
Who's
Miller.
An American journalist and war correspondent.
That's it, because, American journalists were the most important people in the Indian Revolution. So I'm glad that they captured that character. Okay.
All right.
Is this
and we're
it?
down to the last. We're down to the last one.
All right.
All right. So not a lot to choose from at this point.
No, there's still plenty. Don't you worry.
Actor 16, film 1, The Big Easy.
Is this Laurie Metcalf?
It is not.
God damn it.
All right. Do you want another film or do you want to guess?
Give me another film. That was just a shot in the dark.
It was tough because I really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for this one. And all I could come up with for film number 2 was JFK.
Come on. Well, that doesn't help me.
You're down to your second guess.
Are these the only 2 films?
This actor was in 2 films, The Big Easy and JFK.
If I had to guess, which is what I must do, I'm going to guess that it's Pietra Pozniak, who played like the random Russian wife of Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's going to be a rough 12 for you at the end,
God
buddy.
damn it.
The answer was Jim Garrison.
Who's Jim Garrison?
Who's
Oh my
Jim
God!
Garrison?
Jim Garrison? Oh no! That's such an obvious question. What was the first?
I
film
can't
you said?
believe that worked. I can't believe
The
that
Big
worked.
Easy.
Yes.
Well, I got played.
So
Wow.
in 1986,
Masterclass right there.
in
Masterclass.
1986, The Big Easy, he plays Judge. And in JFK, as we've already talked about, he plays Earl Warren, which Wikipedia is helpful to note. Final film.
Oh, I should have known. When he only had 2 roles, I should have known.
Oh, so let me tabulate the points and let's find out if he won.
Yeah. Sorry, how do I win?
If you got the right amount of points.
Okay, great. I feel pretty confident.
Looking like it's gonna be
I was really good with the John Candy one.
79 points.
That seems good.
Which I'm gonna have to say, unfortunately, that's not a winning total.
Oh, no.
Turns out the winning number was 78. So sorry, but the people have spoken, and that was Vox Populi.
So, Devin, JFK.
What's it like to lose a game? By the way,
I actually didn't lose it, and
you just failed to win.
I mean, that's your definition of what happened, but I think it's still being litigated. So we'll see. We'll see about that. And JFK. Hey, do you know how there are so many Kennedys? Are you aware of this?
Maybe not. Like, when you ask a question like that, it makes me assume I have to be not aware of certain Kennedys. Obviously, I know about RFK Jr.
And, well, if, of course it was an RFK Senior. You may not have known that, but yeah, Junior.
No, didn't actually know about that.
Yeah, I know. We've been
How's
putting
he
it
doing?
a lot. We've put it. Not great.
Like, imagine you're RFK Jr. and you're just like, what do I have to do to get assassinated?
Well, what I was thinking as I was watching this film is I was imagining in this modern world of Hollywood, if we had a sequel called JFK Jr. that's about JFK Jr.'s plane going down, but it's presented in the similar pastiche of this grand conspiracy.
Down and to the left, down and to the left.
I think, and honestly, to be frank with you, I think you could convince Oliver Stone to do that film, and he would call it JFK Jr., and it would be so good. So,
Wait, so I want to confirm something on the pod here. So JFK's plane goes down on July 16th, 1999, less than 10 days before my 10th birthday. The Matrix comes out in the United States. The Matrix comes out in the United States March 31st, 1999. Thank God. JFK Jr. presumably did get to see The Matrix. So, and if he didn't, that's on him.
if he didn't, then he got what was coming to him. So.
What if that was it? What if they were just like, wait, he thinks he's above The Matrix. But you were saying there's a lot of Kennedys.
There's so many Kennedys. I wasn't saying
People
that
be
for...
fucking.
Excuse me?
I said people be fucking.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, especially Catholics.
Absolutely.
So
RFK had like a ton of kids, right? Like he had like 10 kids or something.
I'd believe it.
RFK, number of kids, enter 11.
Wow. That's a lot of kids.
I remember like a JFK conspiracy theorist was on a podcast I was listening to once, and nothing makes me think Oswald acted alone like listening to a JFK conspiracy theorist on another podcast. But I remember she said at one point in the interview, she was like, yeah, people always talk about how RFK cheated on his wife, but no way. He had 11 kids. He loved his wife. As if it's like, okay.
No.
So we have hard information that RFK had sex with his wife at least 11 times. So that completely precludes the possibility of it. It's like, no, I actually think that shows us that RFK was horny as fuck.
And frankly, just statistically speaking, we should consider that there was probably at least one Kennedy involved in, the Kennedy assassination. Where was Caroline? Where was Caroline is all I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that thing when they're like, if you get 30 people in a room, 2 of them will have the same birthday. Like, if you have a conspiracy to kill the president, a Kennedy is going to be involved in some way.
Yeah. It was probably Ted. So we've got a few things we wanted to talk about. So speaking of family, I feel like there's this weird back and forth with Oliver Stone in this film where on one hand, he's saying that in general, the military-industrial complex is responsible for Kennedy's assassination, which we could go down a whole rabbit hole here. We don't need to, but I think there's this whole thing of like absolving Kennedy from the military-industrial complex, which is sort of fucked up.
Yeah, if you're killed by something, like saying someone's killed by something is also a way of saying they weren't part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the whole way, I mean, there's literally that phrase I said that Kevin Costner quotes after listening to Clute, where he says, I can't believe they killed him because he wanted to change things. It's like, did he really though? It's like, just because he had some nice speeches.
Yeah.
There's this like overarching theme that the military industrial complex was behind his assassination. But then there's also this weird thing where it was just like a few people behind the scenes, which is this problematic aspect of like the gay community in New Orleans was really behind all of this. There's a line that brought it together for me where they're talking about this, and I believe it's Kevin Costner's character who says, who killed Caesar? 10, 12 senators? All it takes is one Judas, Bill. A few people on the inside. Pentagon, CIA. And so it's almost like weirdly absolving the system of resulting in like what has happened, and instead being like, well, it was just a few bad apples who really want us to do a war in Vietnam that resulted in Kennedy dying, as opposed to a grander indictment of like the imperialist capitalist system of the United States.
Yeah, it's one of the aspects of this film that ends up being really disappointing. because it starts off with the speech about the military-industrial complex, and you want to be like, buddy, strap me in. I'm ready. Oliver, take me home, you know? And I like the way you framed this, because if the film's thesis is that the military-industrial complex killed Kennedy, it begs the question of, well, what does that mean? And there would be a more materialist answer to that question that would have less to do with individual wills and more to do with like systemic dynamics, right?
Yeah.
Like what is compatible with the needs of capital and what is not, you know?
Yep.
It's like this question of like, why do right-wing terrorist groups get to act with impunity, whereas student groups right now at universities like Columbia and Brandeis that are engaging in free speech in support of Palestinian liberation are being banned from campus? And it's the question of, well, what is compatible with the needs of these institutions, right?
Yeah.
The question is not who is engaging in terrorism, right? Who is engaging in whatnot. The question is who is compatible with what the things we want to be doing anyway, right?
Right.
And if you're a university, the things you want to be doing anyway is acquiring land, usually in working class communities, and developing it in certain ways. And if you're the military industrial complex, you want to be generating capital in very specific ways, right? And instead, what this film gives us is a much more individualized answer to that question. And that ends up being really disappointing, I think.
Yeah. Because, I mean, just imagine a world in which the case goes through and Jim Garrison wins. It's still like you've indicted one man of a conspiracy when really, like, who is at fault is presumably this military industrial complex that exists. And so it's this weird juxtaposition of he names that this thing exists and he states that like, oh, they killed Kennedy because it was fucking with their profits. But then he isn't willing to go the extra step to kind of indict the system as being culpable for it. So it kind of, and to me, it almost is presages what we see later with Oliver Stone, of what does he fall into, of these grand narratives of like, well, who are the biggest assholes of modern history of the late 20th century? We've got Nixon, we've got George W. Bush. I think it's showing the fault lines in Oliver Stone's thinking about this, where he walks right up to the line and just cannot cross that line.
Yeah. And you know what's so telling to me about Stone?
What?
He never makes a movie about Reagan.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Like, he has this real fascination for these individual characters of American politics. Is Platoon about Patton? I haven't seen Platoon, but I believe it's about Patton, right? Wait.
What?
Is it not? I don't know what Platoon's about.
It's about Vietnam.
Oh. Well, I'll edit this out. I haven't fucking seen it.
I'm keeping that in. That's fantastic.
For some reason, I thought that movie was
Platted.
Oh, so Patton is about Patton.
Yes, correct.
Which is
and then
not
Oliver
directed
Stone's
by
follow-up,
Oliver Stone.
Platted.
Listen, Platoon sounds a lot like Patton. You gotta, Well, I gotta be honest. Think about it. You take Patton, you add an L to Patton, a loss. You get Platoon. That's
Language
Vietnam.
is a hell of a thing. Yeah.
Am I right, people? Charlie Sheen, speaking of Johnny Depp in that one, actually.
He's in Platoon.
So apparently, Forrest Whitaker as well.
Oh.
Everyone's in an Oliver Stone movie. No one has ever not been in. We've been in an Oliver Stone movie.
Yeah.
But he never makes a film about Reagan.
Yeah.
Who should be such a character for a film by someone like him, right? This iconoclastic, interesting guy part of Hollywood, right? But the thing about Reagan is Reagan was just a fucking, in some ways, a revolving door for capital, actually. He doesn't jive with Stone's view of history, which is that if you're JFK, it's you were going to do the right thing and then you were killed. If you're Nixon, it's that you specifically as an individual fucked things up by being this dishonorable person, right? He doesn't know how to deal with someone like Reagan, where it's like, I mean, you could make a film about Iran-Contra if you wanted, I guess, but there isn't like the Watergate story to tell where he can demonize an individual.
Yep.
And then the other question is, what would the material difference have been if Clay Shaw had been convicted versus the alternate reality in which Jack Ruby doesn't kill Oswald and then Oswald is convicted? You have still convicted one individual, right?
Yeah.
And this, I think, is just what you were saying, right? And something the film fails to do, I think, because it's interested in how Garrison is maybe making sacrifices in his personal life for this case, but it's not interested in maybe how he's making actually ideological sacrifices. It's not interested in how, in this obsession to prove himself right, he's actually just trying to pin it on one person. And he's not thinking about what is the kind of systemic change that would have to happen to truly reckon with the aftermath of the JFK assassination.
Yeah. He's not willing to indict America. He cannot do that. It's literally that first, as soon as Kennedy has died, you have Jim Garrison's character saying, God, I'm ashamed to be an American today. It's this idea that this is an abhorrent, non-American thing that we need to expunge from our system as opposed to an integral aspect of what the modern American state is. So,
and I think that, to shift gears a little bit, that compulsive need on Stone's part to even though he wants the conspiracy to be simultaneously this super vast and large thing, he also needs it to be localized in a way that he can expunge it, like you just said, right? And the way ideologically he does that is through homophobia, right? It's how can I conceive of something that is simultaneously vast and everywhere and all-encompassing, but also localizable and nameable in a way that I can wall it off from everything I want America to be. And the ideological solution for him to that is to conflate the conspiracy to kill Kennedy with homosexuality. And so homosexuality becomes this thing for him that it's like, oh, well, it could be anywhere. You can't see it, right? It's potentially lurking. Any one particular person could be homosexual at any given time. This is just classic Lavender Scare bullshit, right? But simultaneously, it can be like, well, then maybe we can't figure out who specifically killed JFK, but we can expunge homosexuality from the nuclear family, right? And this is the way I think that ultimately the narrative of Jim Garrison's family falling apart and the homophobic tendencies of the film are one thing.
Right.
Where it's the JFK assassination, the JFK conspiracy is undoing America through these homosexuals penetrating the state apparatus. And then that same homosexual potentiality is penetrating the American nuclear family and throwing it into disarray.
Yeah, it's really, you can avoid making America as a whole culpable because you have this what is framed as a deviant group as ultimately being responsible. So it's using those tendencies to see the gay community in New Orleans as a deviant group, as almost a cudgel to then be wow, look at the way in which there's this other deviance that's going on with this corruption of the pure American system. So it's really using homophobic tendencies of what you would imagine like Oliver Stone's audience is to try and like draw these threads together in a way that doesn't exist, but in a way that is really gross, but like creates connections that simply do not exist. But again, like we've been saying, ultimately absolves the system of the rot at its core.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing at the end, is this all serves to shut down thought and shut down critique in the end. It's not as if we can just say, oh, Oliver Stone had these radical opinions about JFK and then is also homophobic. And if we erase the homophobia, we can recover what's radical about the film. They're one and the same to me.
Yeah.
And they serve to actually prevent people from doing the more systemic critique of realizing the real problem, which is this, you know, the real conspiracy, I think, is what you told us earlier about the crossing out of the congressional from the military industrial congressional complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of being like, oh, this is something that is outside of America, not something that is an integral part of America, right? And that, I think, is why this film actually it serves to help create the kind of, even as it's an example of the kind of vaguely leftist conspiracy culture we've been talking about as part of the 90s, I think it's ultimately helping to create the reactionary form of conspiratorial thinking that dominates our contemporary moment, because it's not conspiratorial thinking that is oriented towards truth. It's conspiratorial thinking that is oriented towards, you know, the reclaiming of a false idea of what America is.
Yeah. And again, it's like you can absolve America by like, well, can we just like, can we just build off of my prejudices with this conspiracy theory? Because that'd be so much more convenient for me if we could do that. And I think you see a lot of threads of that in like modern conspiracy theories. We're like, oh, that's so convenient that the groups of people that you already hate are also the one behind all of these nefarious schemes that are making our lives demonstrably and materially worse year by year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the actually much harder work is thinking about how is there actually a system that transcends any individual actor, right? And produces particular outcomes, and also produces my hatred of these groups.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
That I think cause these problems.
Yep. So speaking of like bringing us to our current state of affairs, one thing that struck me, as we've spoken to repeatedly here, is that every single actor and actress in Hollywood was a part of this film. The cast list is extensive, but at the same time, you could, in a lot of ways, we've now deconstructed, but I feel like the overarching way in which it's presented, and probably how a lot of these actors thought of it, is it was almost radical in a way. Like, wow, it's saying that Kennedy, it wasn't a lone gunman. And it's very interesting that all of these Hollywood actors signed on to do this film that, you know, in their own way, they probably thought was radical, you know? And I was just trying to think of like, what cause or idea could possibly unite Hollywood? Like, what would be the film that really wants to make a point that every actor in Hollywood would sign on and be a part of these days? Do you have any, like, what would that be?
It's tough because it feels like we are so far removed at this point, because 91 doesn't feel that far away, right? But it's 32 years ago.
I could hear your keys typing, but go on.
But it feels like we are so far removed from an era in which there was any kind of, within mainstream culture, authentically leftist, authentically anti-capitalist sentiment, where there could be any kind of like, it feels like now it's like it's more of a four-part system culturally, if you will, or it's like we've got centrist Hollywood, we've got like good Republicans, quote unquote, we've got the fringe right with films like what was that film about like saving kids that like fucked up, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Song of Freedom, was that it?
Yeah, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom, yeah. We've got that kind of contingent, and then we've got authentic leftists who largely are just like completely snuffed out from the media, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever would unite Hollywood would have to be in that kind of centrist mode, which is, but the mode of the centrist aesthetically has to be one of like reconciliation, you know? So it would have to like, the center left can only like kind of coalesce around something like Trump. So I don't know. It would have to be like a fucking Comey letter movie or something. I can't even think, or Ukraine or something. But then even the Ukraine thing has been so devalidated on so many levels by now the need to shift all of that ideological weight towards Israel that I don't even know, because regardless of what any individuals think, the system needs to be pro-Israel. And then there's simultaneously genocide happening in front of everybody's eyes. So it's very hard for me to think of what could be the thing that would eventually create that kind of uniting generational force, because like our generation is nothing to the Hollywood machine right now, in the sense of like, it's like go see superheroes or whatever, but there are no entreaties being made towards appealing to us ideologically in terms of like direct political engagement, certainly ideological engagement on the level of like mass culture indirectly, but no one's making films that like speak to our generation politically the way JFK spoke to like the boomer generation politically. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an impossible question, I feel, to answer, because I feel like you have a generation of Hollywood in the early 90s that are at least able to flirt with this idea of a critical sort of movie that, at least in their mind, speaks to a critique of the system, like JFK. Like that just like the current generation of Hollywood actors, like that's not something that
like
I
the
feel
Hollywood left today is pro-system.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's like Hollywood.
Trump was an anti-system. I'm not saying he was actually anti-system, obviously, right, but his rhetoric was anti-system. And so, like, liberals in response became pro-system and pro-rules, which was obviously a losing proposition.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and so it's even more of a bastardization of, if you think of like historical topics, you have the fucking trial of the Chicago 7 with Aaron Sorkin, which is just atrocious. But again, look at the cast in that film. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Eddie Redmayne, Sacha Baron Cohen. Like it's a gambit of people in the film. But what does the film essentially say? Like, hey, settle down, y'all. Don't cause too much of a ruckus.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the most that Hollywood can say right now.
They can say that there were radical events that existed, but the message we can take from it is to like be a liberal. Like that's, I guess, like the only thing that comes out of that. The person
that on Twitter that no matter what the thing that is happening is, the solution is to vote.
Yeah.
And then when you engage in, for example, protests of your Pennsylvania senator. I'm not saying what his name is. Maybe his name is Fawn Jennerman, and you occupy his office because of his active support of a genocidal regime. That somehow has nothing to do with voting, apparently. What you were supposed to do is nothing until he's on the election, and then you just show up and vote. But obviously, the people that support him are allowed to campaign for him.
Right.
And that's not breaking the rules, right? But it's like, it's kind of that kind of seems just where Hollywood is not willing to admit anything beyond that, right? And so Trial of the Chicago 7, I can barely say the name of that film because it makes me so mad. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen, and maybe the politically worst film I've ever seen in my entire life. And we should do an episode on it sometime.
God, be so. I have to watch it again. Fuck.
Yeah. You know what? What if we did? We've never done this. What if we did a riff tracks to that?
Oh my god. That actually could be good. That could be good.
Because we want to. We've been talking. We're gonna have a new season pretty soon, and we want to do some different things. We want to do not just movies.
Yeah.
But we also want to like expand the podcast in different ways, and maybe we could do just like let's watch Trial of the Chicago 7 together, and with subtitles on, and try not to break our televisions.
Yeah. But it really, to me, was something like you can't bring Hollywood together to even give the veneer of radicalism these days. It is, like you said, like voting is the only thing that is at your disposal to do, because anytime you do anything other than just voting, you are actually doing more harm than good in every single one of those narratives. It's like the fucking Marvelification of what is good and what is bad. The
Do you know what?
MCUification. Yeah.
I think I have the answer, actually.
Lay it on me.
I think this conversation has figured out. I actually think it already happened. And it wasn't a movie, it was a video. And I'm just going to drop it into the chat and see how you react. But this is my answer for this is what it looks like when Hollywood unites around something.
Is it the Imagine video? Because
you're goddamn right it is. And who is the first fucking face in that video?
Yeah, who organized it?
Is Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
Who anyone who's ever said anything good about her, fuck you. We always knew she was IDF, but she's been trying to organize or has organized this fucking, Hollywood propaganda screening of this pro-Israel film or whatever. But yeah, this is what Hollywood can unite around, right? And I'm talking about the fucking COVID-19 video where the celebrities sing Imagine by John Lennon, his worst song that he was ever involved in on any level, I think. And man, I'm watching it with the sound off. It's hard to tell if it's worse or better. So yeah, I don't know that this film, that there even is any sort of uniting event that could bring Hollywood together like JFK, as problematic as it is these days. Yeah, the only thing I could... Wow, Gal Gadot gave herself the first and the last bit of this video, by the way. She's the only singer that appears twice. What a fucking terrible person. What a terrible person. I'm so angry I can't remember what I was going to say when I started talking.
I think what you were going to say is there's only one last thing for us to do.
And that is hand out the Steve Buscemi's.
Yes, sir.
So, we've talked a lot about this film.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about Hollywood. It's time to get down to brass tacks. Ethan.
Yeah.
How many Steve Buscemi's do you give this film? Or I should rather say, how do you rate this film in terms of Steve Buscemi?
Great question. I'm going to do something similar to Oliver Stone in that I am making a statement with the Steve Buscemi's that I allot this. And I'm going to give it 0 Steve Buscemi's. but specifically because Steve Buscemi was not cast in this film, which I think is a glaring omission. I'm just imagining in like the early 90s, he's at home by himself. There's no parties because everyone is off filming. So to me, it's like a cruel decision by Oliver Stone to not cast Steve Buscemi in this. All that Steve Buscemi has going for him is preparing to be a firefighter on 9/11. And so I think that's just a real disgrace that he was left on his own out of this film. Devin, what about you? How many Steve Buscemis, or in what way would you award Steve Buscemi's to this film?
So what I'm going to do, because there's a part of me that kind of likes this movie.
Yeah.
I like, I'm a big JFK guy. I like
You love the
conspiracy
homophobic aspects. You could have done without this whole JFK thing. I hear you.
I hate when trying to find out who killed the president gets in the way of a good old-fashioned tale.
Yeah, you're like, I already assumed they did it. Let's just get to... Okay, so go on.
So I kind of like this film, but not that much. And then, especially after our conversation, I kind of think it's a reactionary piece of shit, actually. And so I'm going to give this film 2 Steve Buscemis that are also sort of one Steve Buscemi at the same time. And that's by giving it Steve Buscemi as Romero in Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams.
Wow.
And then not doing what you think I'm going to do, because I'm going to give it the Steve Buscemi from the very next Steve Buscemi film that was released immediately after that, calendar year-wise, which was, of course, Steve Buscemi as Romero in Spy Kids 3D Game Over. So the Steve Buscemi totality of late 2002 to early 2003 is what I'm giving JFK.
Very well thought out. Well,
as always, definitely not something I thought of as we were doing the segment.
Sorry, go on.
No, just say what you were going to say.
I was going to say we plan everything ahead of time.
Absolutely. Everything. A lot of people view. A lot of people of you might not know this, but the podcast is entirely scripted, including all of the fuck ups.
Yeah.
So this has all been written. This has all been rehearsed meticulously until we get it down to a fucking science. Ethan is a method actor. I'm not, actually, because I'm like a little less toxic than Ethan. But Ethan, like if you tried to talk to Ethan for the last month, he would only speak about JFK.
Yeah.
Ugh. But thankfully that's over. And we come to the end of another episode of You're Tall, But I'm Standing in Front of You.
One last thing, Devin. How are you going to... It's the 60th anniversary, right?
Yes.
How are you going to celebrate?
I'm going to do my best, but I don't think I'm going to make it. You know what I mean?
Hey,
that
was JFK's whole deal.
What about you?
Yeah, probably pretty similar. I'm going to seek affirmation throughout the day, but generally deep down in my core be a mostly reprehensible person. A few good things about me, but if anyone dares to speak ill of me, I will become violently offended. So
So thank you for listening to You're Tall, But I'm Standing in Front of You. I want to give a challenge to the listeners.
Oh.
Because we say this all the time. We do this thing where we say, like, follow us on Your Tall Pod at Twitter, Mathesippi, Stale Cooper, blah, blah, blah. Give us a 5-star rating. Here's the thing. Is the podcast good? Of course not. But who gives a shit? Just lie. Like, Oliver Stone lied. Why can't you? So if you are listening to this, give us a 5-star rating right now. Take your fucking phone out that you're listening to this on and go to the app or whatever you're listening to it on. Give us a 5-star rating. Take a screenshot of it and send an email to yourtallpod@gmail.com or send a DM to the YourTallPod Twitter account. And we will do in our next season an episode on whatever the fuck you want. Just tell us what it has to be about. No one's gonna do this, but this is, let's see how much Ethan and I hate ourselves.
We will not do Demolition Man again.
Yeah, we're not gonna do Demolition Man a second time, but new topic, we will do it. We will do it.
Yep.
So if anybody has listened to the episode at this point, this is your opportunity to get, and we're not promising any kind of turnaround, to be clear, but 100% of the people who take me up on this offer will get the episode they want. Unless it's really a problem. Like, if there are like moral problems with whatever you're asking for, but assuming it is within the permit of what is acceptable to us, we will do it.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, and like tell a friend or something. I don't know. Get more people to listen to this thing. We don't make any money off it. We don't want to make any money, but tell people to listen. It's pretty fun. And here's the thing. If they just download it and don't listen, we're not going to know. We don't have that technology. Just download, delete over and over again.
If there's one thing that Devin believes in, it's that the numbers are reality, the statistics are reality, so make our reality be a happy one.
If you look up any of my published scholarship, it's all about how informatic metrics give you a direct reflection of reality. So just make those metrics go up. Get that McNamara fallacy going. We love you. We'll see you later. JFK, 60 years. Can you believe it? One man can make a difference.